The gang's all here. Oh, and Susie's cat. Check her out. All right. Well, welcome back. We're in a transition phase, moving from book 2 to book 3 of the Yoga Sutras. So this is our guide. You guys know if you've been coming for a while. And I have something really special today. So a little bit of background. Sri Swami Satchidananda started a retreat center, ashram in the United States. It's called Yogaville. And I went there in 2008. I know that exact date because this morning I was looking for a really great picture I have of a flower to use for our meditation. And I remember taking this picture of a lotus, which has some significance in the yoga world. And I took it at Yogaville. So when I was looking for it on my phone this morning, I was like, oh wow, that was 2008. So I'll share that with you when we get into our practice today. If you haven't heard the sort of significance of lotus, just one of the many things around it is the crown chakra, which is like the highest energy center in the body, is said to be 1,000-petaled lotus. And many of our practices are around awakening the crown chakra. So we'll do a little meditation this morning with a lotus flower as our drishti. So let's dive in and talk a little bit about book 3, and we'll get there. We'll get to the flower part. All right, so before we actually get into Sutra 3.1, I do want to mention something that I don't know that I ever really paid attention to in previous readings of this book. He tells us as we go into book 3 that he's going to share the translation for every sutra in book 3, but he's not going to really comment on all of them. He says, I've translated all of the sutras of portions 3 and 4. However, I've chosen not to comment on them all. I've taken the ones I've found most useful for the understanding of yoga aspirants, and I've left the others out. So as we go through books 3 and 4, I guess we've taken 2 years to get through the first 2 books of the sutras. So as we go through books 3 and 4, we'll probably move along a little more quickly than on the previous books. So having said that, let's start with Yoga Sutra 3.1. The English translation says, Dharana is the binding of the mind to one place, object, or idea. So leading into this, we've actually spoken of dharana already. Dharana is most simply defined as concentration. So binding your mind to one place, one object, or one idea. He says in the description, when the chittam, or the sum total of the mind, is being bound by one thing or bound in one place, it is dharana. With dharana, we're training the mind. So in the asana practice, we train the physical body. In pranayama, we train the breath. In pratyahara, we train the senses. And as we move through the 8 limbs of yoga, we get to the last 3 limbs, which we'll be talking about in these last 3 books, or last 2 books. And they start with dharana, concentration. And he basically says that this is where we all start when we aim to cultivate mindfulness or meditation. We always begin with training the mind to concentrate. And what he goes on to say in the explanation is that having something to train our mind on can be easier than just saying, okay, I'm going to sit still, close my eyes, and train my mind on nothing. So there's many tools in these practices, such as, training our mind on our breath. We've done that practice a lot together. There's training our mind on a word or a mantra. And today we're going to do a visual meditation, practice of dharana, training our mind on the image of a flower. So in the write-up in this section, he talks about the idea of a rose. So if you hold a rose and gaze at the rose for your meditation, or if you picture a rose in your mind's eye after you close your eyes, it gives the mind something to bind to and refocus towards when we find our mind wanders. I thought of you, Paula, when I was reading this morning, because you asked such a great question last time about how do I not think about the laundry, or how do I not think about painting the walls in my house when I'm sitting for meditation? And he pretty much gives the same example in this explanation of this sutra. He says, you might be thinking of the rose, and then remember the person who gave you a rose and the meal that you had when you were with that person, and then before you know it, you're thinking about the movie you went to, which was King Kong. And he says pretty much our mind will jump from the rose to King Kong in less than 2 minutes. And so the practice isn't that we're going to permanently stop our mind from doing that, but that we're going to start to strengthen our muscles to bind our mind to the things that we choose. So when our mind starts to go down the rabbit hole, that we can smile, say, oh, there I go again, and redirect back to our object of concentration. So any questions before I start us into our practice? Right now, and I'll give some guidance throughout a little bit. And this is an eyes open meditation, at least for the beginning part. And the practice he describes is to really bring your attention visually to the object, and then if you do choose to close your eyes, to try and hold that object in your mind's eye. Right? So just keep coming back to the object of meditation. So let me share my screen. This is my photo of a lotus from Yogaville. Give me a thumbs up if you can see what we're doing. All right, looks good. All right, so go ahead and create your posture. Your seat and your feet. As you set your gaze on the flower, there's a lot of detail here. I invite you to just take it all in from a place of curiosity. You might notice your mind paying attention to the details and maybe figuring out or making up stories around the elements you see in front of you. Even that awareness of your thoughts shows practice of mindful awareness. Once the sort of curiosity and seeking and taking in starts to settle a little bit, Soften your gaze so that there's a softness to your drishti, your gazing point. Notice grasping at different parts of the image. Notice if your thoughts are tight, and invite some softness. If thoughts do arise, half smile. Give yourself a moment to just be with what's arising. And when you feel complete with that awareness, come back to a soft attention. Notice your breath. And take a deeper breath. And another deep breath. And welcome back. Insights? Questions? Yes, Paula.
That is not what I imagined a lotus looked like. Like when you see a drawing or a rendering of a lotus, is it before it like comes into full bloom? Is it like closed up and then they open up?
I don't know what you're kind of imagining. I was gonna share, let me see if I can come in here. I have another couple of photos. Let me go into, so like this one, a lot of times what you'll see are these lotus pods. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is what they look like before they've opened. So this is like the unopened bloom.
Oh, I can't see it because the
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can go back to full screen. Okay, so over here in the, well, maybe you can't because of your, if your thing's in front of it, you can grab it and move it up to the top or over to the left. So in the lower right-hand corner of the photo, there's a closed version of the flower.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what maybe not that close, but that's what I imagined a lotus to look like. I guess I've never seen one that was opened up.
I wish I downloaded the photo of the lotus temple at this place because it actually looks probably like what you're thinking of. It's sort of this shape with a few petals open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll email you guys a picture of it. I don't think there's one in this book. There's not a lot of pictures in here. But yeah. So even like on the back of this book, there's this little lotus down here. That's a sort of a graphic design version of a lotus. So all of these shapes with the multiple petals, a lot of them are representing a lotus.
Right.
And the other thing that like a lot of people have heard it, no mud, no lotus, because they grow out of the mud.
Oh.
And so sort of a metaphor for life, right? Like you got to get a little messy.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I love in that photo that there's the little bee on the petal. Kind of reminds me that it's all connected. The flowers need the bees need the flowers. We need both of them. Yeah. Any other shares? Does anybody really like the visual eyes open version? If you're like, this is really for me, or you guys like, I want to close my eyes and just do the usual. Like it, Marcia?
I kind of liked it, but then I would just close my eyes, and then I thought, well, I want to look again, and then I'd see something a little different, and I almost saw like 3 or 4, the petals. It just was very graceful and very beautiful, very peaceful. It was a nice meditation for me. Thank you.
Jessica?
Unmute
her. Sometimes you're not meant to share. Fran.
I think it's something I might try just my hands, my palm, for a while.
Yeah, or even out on a walk, to be able to just sit and be with what you encounter for more than a walk by or to listen to the birds. For me, these kinds of practices, it's like walking this tightrope of curiosity and sort of the word that they use a lot of times in teaching meditation is bare attention. And I find bare attention hard. It sounds like it's just like nothing. So there's this like sweet spot, I think, between the rabbit holes of my curiosity and sort of a deadness to what I'm witnessing. If that makes sense. So it's like being able to witness it in its fullness without needing to try to understand it. Anyhow, any other thoughts? All right. Well, this was lovely. I'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Kate.
Bye, everybody.